He's very knowledgeable on fishing and a fishing guide, and knows an awful lot about the industry. Makes lures, as you can see on the table up here. He has a ton of experience, and I think you'll be able to tell from a presentation he made last year and this year, that you'll be able to tell from his enthusiasm and interest in the sport that he's going to give you a lot of really neat information and show you how to catch a lot more fish. So come on up, Chris.
Hi everybody, I'm Chris Brooks. I own Bigfishin tackle. I'm filming for my website, so by being here, you guys have given me your express consent to go jump in. I've really tried to up my game over the past couple of months with my fishing lures. I started a website. It's www.therealbigfishin.com. I've got a YouTube channel, and that's Bigfishin on Whidbey. You can find me on YouTube. I've got instructional videos on there. I've got just some of me and my buddies moving around out in the boat. It's kind of a fun thing. I'm really kind of hoping maybe one day that I could have some sort of fishing show or something along those lines. Has anybody ever seen Outdoor GPS on Comcast Sports Center? You guys watch that at all? I guess I'm the only guy. It's on channel like 189 or something. It's on Saturday and Sunday mornings, and I think 6 o'clock in the morning. But it's a radio show and a television show, and I've been in contact with those guys, and I asked them, you know, if I send them down a care package, if they give it away on television, and plug my website and my YouTube channel. And so far things are going really well with that, so I'm hoping that something's going to come on that. So maybe one of these days you guys will see me on the TV. This year I've come out with sort of my answer to the buzz bomb here. These are 1 ounce casting jigs here. You work them pretty much the same way as a buzz bomb. I've got a myriad of colors. This is all I brought with me. I ran out of eyeballs today, so I was at my house working furiously to try to get all this stuff ready for you guys, so you could come so I could have something to show you. But anyways, these are my these are Kings, halibut, and lingcod jigs right here. These are good. You know, anytime you're more than 50 feet of water, 100 feet of water, you can fish these probably up to 120 feet of water. Essentially, with one of these, you can do the same thing that somebody with a downrigger is doing, except you're not using your motor and your hands are on the pole.
Sure.
Oh, I'm sorry. Stuck into the back there. I've got, this is one of the colors I'm actually really proud of right here. This pattern, I think this is going to be a really hot lure right here. If anything looks like a herring that I've ever made, this lure right here looks like a herring, especially in the water. We've got the blue and purple on this side. We've got greens here. I've got this watermelon color here with the chartreuse and the pink. I think these greens and the blues, the greens and the silvers, the blue and the silver, all these are going to be good for cohos and kings. I think these purple and pink are going to do real hot for humpies. I just like that color a lot. I think that's going to get a good deal about that pattern.
Are those lures jig?
Yes, these are jig. This is kind of like my answer to the point Wilson card. I don't know if you guys, I'm sure you guys are familiar with those. They're an excellent lure. I'm not going to stand here and say that they don't catch fish, that's for sure. I guess I'm just trying to steal a little bit of his action. But these are great. I sell these for 10 bucks a piece. I've got, none of these have hooks on them right now, but I have hooks, so they come with hooks if anybody's interested. These are my salmon jigs and steelhead jigs for fresh water. We fish these up in the Samish and Cascade and Skagit. We do really well with these. I've got some bucktail flies here for some humpy colors, and I've also got some cheater rags here that I tie for fishing for steelhead and salmon in the river. I've got a couple more things that I didn't put out tonight because I just didn't think it was really relevant. So that's my spiel on my lures. After I'm done, if you guys want to come check them out, I've got stuff for sale. I'd be more than happy if you guys want to purchase something. And so I think what we're going to talk about now is anybody, you guys been out hunting fishing at all? You guys did a little bit. The bush point's been, the humpies have turned on pretty good the past 3 or 4 days. There's been, it's been kind of hit or miss. It's been the morning or the evening high. You know, you always kind of want to be there around sunup because it gets so busy down there. I found the best time to go is during the week before work. You're not going to catch me down there on a Saturday or Sunday. You guys don't have this. But I've been fishing these two pinks right here all season long so far. I've been on a mission this year to only use my own tackle. I haven't bought a buzz bomb or a leader or any of that stuff all year long. I've been making all my own stuff, and I've had the best year I've ever had for lingcod. I got a halibut this year, and I'm out fishing a lot of the guys on humpies that I'm standing next to the point where people are coming up to me and asking me what I'm using and wanting to buy whatever I got in my bag or whatever I got in my pocket. In fact, one of the guys, Jack Fritz, down at the beach yesterday, he asked me what's my hook. So I really think that the proof is in the pudding with these. I know it's hard to get away from fishing buzz bombs because people get stuck in the way to tell you that's how you do it, you know, and so everybody kind of just falls into that pattern. And I'm trying to get away from that. I like to kind of have, you know, when I open my tackle box, I like my stuff to be a little bit cooler than my friends. I don't know if I'm the only guy. I like my paint jobs to be a little bit cooler. I like my hooks to be a little bit sharper, my pole to be a little bit newer. It's just the competitiveness in me. And so I'll put my money where my mouth is with these. I'll stand next to somebody on the beach and you can fish a buzz bomb and I'll fish one of my lures and we'll see who catches more fish. If anybody wants to take me up on that, I'd be more than willing to film it for the website. So, with that going on the lures here, let's talk about humpy fishing a little bit. We got the Humpy Derby coming up, you guys, and that's going to be a good event. Ace has asked me to be a part of that, and I think they're going to have me MC it again this year. I'm not sure. They kicked around the idea. I've been asked, but you know how things can happen complicated Derby. So I'm thinking this year you're going to be looking for a fish in the 5 to 7 pound range. If you get an 8 or a 9 pound humpy in the salt water, that's a big, I mean, that's really at the top of the scale. So that's kind of the slot limit you're looking for. I think last year, what was it, 6.7 pounds or something like that? Somebody won that. Okay. But anyway, so yeah, you're gonna be looking at 5 to 7 pound range. If I was you, I would bring a scale in the boat with me so you could be weighing your fish. I would keep the first 1, 2, maybe even third fish and leave that second, or that third and fourth fish, you can keep kicking them back and upgrading like they would do in a bass tournament if you're really looking at trying to win a prize. I know that Nichols Brothers is sponsoring $400 for it, and I believe the second prize is going to be $400. So I mean, that's a pretty good chunk of change for going out and screwing around in the water. Of course, I don't know, I mean, depending on the size of your boat and gas prices and everything else, I might buy you a 6-pack and a ride home and make it worth it. I've been doing a little bit of king fishing this year. I hit it pretty hard. The first week was pretty hot for kings. I fish Mutiny Head over here, like you're going to go to Bush Point. It's one of my favorite spots. Just, I guess that would be north of the Mutiny Bay condos right there. They call it Windmill Hole. I guess I'm not that old, so I don't know that it's Windmill Hole. I just call it my fishing spot. Trolling a cut plug herring, 1 ounce weight, 20 feet of water, about 40 to 50 pulls behind the boat. Trolling probably about 2 miles an hour. Was really hot for about the first week. There was a lot of fish caught. Some fish caught in the 30-pound range. One of the guys at work, Mark Thompson, he's got a 30-pounder there a few days ago. Another spot that was really hot there, and it has continued to kick out fish, but hasn't been as consistent as White Rock. White Rock, Bush Point, 40 feet of water, 40 pulls out on a conventional reel. You're pulling about 12 inches when you go. Cut plug herring, 5 ounce weight, 2 miles an hour, and it's fish on. It's been really consistent. You want to get that morning tide has been as good as the best for the kings, in my opinion. It just seems like that's when they're the hungriest. Evening tide, you can get it. There's some good tides this week. Let's see, I think high tide tomorrow is probably, I think it's at 9 o'clock. So if you were going to get up and fish that tide tomorrow, I'd say you'd want to be down at Bush Point. If you're going to be going to the beach, you want to be there probably about 6 o'clock in the morning, because that bite can hit anytime from the sun coming up till that tide, till 2 hours after that tide. I found that the best fishing at Bush Point is after the high tide, when it starts to kick around and move back this way, like it's going towards the lighthouse, because those fish like to ride that current. A lot of people will tell you that slack tide's the best time for a bite. Some people will tell you it's not a good time for a bite. I would say that you will pick up fish on slack tide, but your money shot for fishing off the beach at Bush Point is going to be after that tide kicks around. And you stay there and fish, and you'll see people will be filing out. They're leaving too soon. They're leaving too soon. And it happens every morning. I watch the guys, and then pretty soon there's me and 6, 8 other guys standing on the beach, and we're catching all the fish, and everybody else is already gone. It's been pretty good. I went this morning. I went 1 for 3, and yesterday I went 1 for 4, and the day before that I went 2 for 9. So. My batting average is I think I could play for the Mariners.
Can I ask your setup, how you rigged it? You said a cut plug herring, I would assume what are we talking about, a leader?
Okay, that's an excellent question.
36 or
No,
32?
you want to, I forgot to leave that. No, I fish like an 8 or a 9 foot leader when I'm pulling one of those cut plug herrings. Way behind that leg.
Then a swivel, and then a drop weight.
No, okay. I run a 5 ounce, 6 ounce banana sinker with a bead chain, okay, and then I'll put my 10-foot leader on. And what I like to do that it seems to help me a little bit is after your 6-bead chain on your banana sinker, I'll take one of those free bearing swivels, their Sampo or whatever swivels, they've got a clip on them, a 3-bearing swivel, and I'll add that to the 6-bead chain so you don't get twisted up with that big long leader. And another thing about cut plug and herring is that always check it before you send it down. Make sure that herring is turning the way that you want it to turn and that it's got a nice tight whip to it, because if it's not doing what you want it to do, you're wasting your time, and you're wasting money and you're wasting bait.
Are you using herring that's out of a frozen package, or are you picking them up fresh somewhere?
I'm using them out of a frozen package. Sometimes I'll brine my herring. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that. Like the night before I'm going to go, I'll thaw it. You partially thaw your herring. Whenever you're thawing herring in a vacuum sealed pack, you want to poke it a couple of times, because what happens is when the pack is vacuum sealed and it starts to de-thaw, because of the vacuum sealing, it pulls all the moisture and stuff out of the fish and it makes them mushy. So you poke a couple of holes in the package, take it out for a couple hours. I've got a little big glue cooler like this, like a 6-pack cooler, and I'll take my herring, I'll cut plug them. Make sure you pull the guts out of them when you're cut plugging them, because that belly cavity is what makes that fish spit. If you don't pull the guts out, you're not going to get that nice tight little whip to it. So I'll take them, I get some sea salt, a little bit of sea salt, a little bit of water, you throw them in there. I'd say 1/4 to 1/3 cup of sea salt probably, and then throw that in there with a little bit of water, and then put that in the fridge with a handful of ice cubes and leave that overnight. It'll tighten that herring up real nice, and it helps you stay on the hook. Herring is so expensive to buy his bait. I mean, you're looking at $5.99, $6 a pack, maybe even $7 a pack. And we did the math on it. Herring bait costs more per pound than wild-caught king salmon does in Payless.
And you're not using bluing or?
I haven't got into using the bluing. Sometimes I'll use Nate's bait here. I don't know if you're familiar with that. It's kind of like a Potsy's fire cure that you would use on your eggs or whatever, but it comes in chartreuse and green and red and blue and a bunch of different colors. I'll throw a couple of spoonfuls on there. They tell you to use a bunch of their product because they're trying to sell their product. So I found that just a little bit of sea salt or canning salt also works killer, but you got to be careful with the canning salt because it'll turn your bait into shoe leather real quick. I mean, it's to the point where nothing's going to do that. It has to remain. The bait has to have some sort of natural, it has to look kind of natural a little bit, if you brine it to the point where sure it's not going to come off your hook, but you're also not going to catch a fish. You can probably shoe a horse with it, So we've had some white rock, and then the lighthouse is always excellent. The dogfish are thick this year. They're big and they're aggressive this year. I think they're spawning right now is what they're doing. They're rolling in big pods. If you guys go to my YouTube channel, you can see a video I shot of the dogfish coming at the boat, and I had about 50 of them underneath the boat, and they were slapping water on us and pumping into the motor.